to the league. You're joined here with your host, David Magid, and my co-host, who you may know as the Solar Maverick. Today, we're going to refer to him, Benoit Tangent. And you give us 5 minutes. We're going to give you the latest in the clean energy trends. All right. So first trend that we're going to be speaking about today is some groundbreaking information that everyone in the market has been speaking about. This groundbreaking information is the policy that is going to allow us to build the energy grid of the future and build the smart grid of the future. What I'm speaking about is FERC Order 1920. Now, FERC Order 1920, is FERC's policies that has been put in place, and this order is requiring all of the independent system operators and regional transmission operators, to abide, by this order that is being put in place. And what's going to occur is in the next 10 months, each of these ISOs and RTOs are required to submit plans of how they plan to comply, with their FERC order. Just like many of these other FERC orders, we are expecting a bunch of litigation to occur, as this typically does, happen. And we're expecting the windfalls, from FERC Order 1920 to actually take place, close to 2028, 2027. So what are the specifics? One of the key components is now the planning of all the load growth and forecasts is actually taking place over a 20-year duration. That's going up from 3 to 5. So now we have some certainty on the planning of what is taking place. There's different indicators requiring data sources, all the proper data sources to be done when these are, ISOs and RTOs are actually doing these evaluations. Next big component, a part of this, why this is so important, is now there is actually market signals put in place, criteria that is designed, so that there is the right sizing, of projects, and we have less projects that die within the queue and go through that process. Amazing information. Suggest everybody looks at this FERC Order 1920. One key component that I was looking at that really caught my attention, load growth in emerging centers, data centers, onshoring, transportation with electrification, building electrification, crypto mining, which is going to generate, the most emerging in demands. Normally, a lot of people probably default to the data center, maybe the crypto mining. Guess what it is? Onshore and industrial electrification, 36 gigawatts of increase by 2030. Second in the lead is the data centers at 16 gigawatts. Third, you got your crypto mining, 8 to 15. I'm sure that's going to be based on whatever, Bitcoin pricing and the demand on that end. Now, jumping to the second topic, that we're going to discuss is the Appalachian Power has released an RFP. This RFP is they're looking to purchase 800 megawatts of projects, wind, solar, or standalone storage. Projects must be connected to the PJM grid, 50 megawatts minimum for wind, 10 megawatts minimum for solar and storage. So they're going to buy your projects. That's what they're looking for, 800 megs. Second part of this is wind and solar PPAs, up to 300 megawatts of PPAs that they're looking for their solicitation. Those projects, 50 megawatts for wind, 5 megawatts for solar. Start looking through here. You have up to 2028 for these projects to get online. Amazing solicitation. I suggest you take a look at this and all the exciting data that's coming out of FERC 1920. And that's that.
Thank you, David. Those are two great news points happening in the clean energy sector. And I've also two other exciting ones or things that we should think about. The Biden administration has reviewed the tariff rates over the past year and is keeping more than $300 billion in tariffs imposed by former President Donald Trump. The Biden administration is actually increasing tariffs in the clean energy space. They're increasing the tariff for electric vehicles from China from 25% to 100%. Beginning this year, lithium-ion batteries from China used in electric vehicles, they're increasing it from 7.5% to 25%. Cells imported from China, they're increasing from 25 to 50%. Also, steel and aluminum products, they're increasing from 0 to 7.5 to 25%. These are huge increases, and these are the Biden administration is actually putting more tariffs on renewable energy than the previous administration did. Obviously, they realize that clean energy is a very important thing in the future of our economy. That's why they passed the Inflation Reduction Act. But this is actually going to create a lot of issues in the short term because 70% of the solar cells are produced in China. It's going to, in the short term, basically increase cost to develop and build solar, which will lead to lower solar deployment and take more time to develop solar projects as well. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, it's just the solar roller coaster that we've all gotten used to. But hopefully we could convince the administration that potentially to wait later for these tariff increases until we have the infrastructure in the US or somehow reduce it. Also, everyone in the development community has been focused on developing solar in the PJM interconnection queue. That's Pennsylvania, Jersey, Maryland. There's a lot of energy usage, especially with data centers. It's kind of going back to something that David talked about earlier. Columbia University, actually, SEPA, came up with an outlook for pending generation in the PJM interconnection queue. The key finding from this survey, from them talking to project developers, is that PJM's increasingly lengthy interconnection process is exacerbating siting and permitting challenges and leading to knock-on delays in energy procurement and financing decisions, suggesting the timeline for new generation in this market will likely remain a long time for the foreseeable future. That's something that we all, kind of know, and we know that, projects are dropping out, and the time frames just right now seem really long unless you have, deep pockets. It makes sense to go forward and wait however long for this, but hopefully, PGM will figure out a way to hopefully streamline this whole process. And we thank you for your time. Those are two of my points, and then David's great points with electricity usage, where it's coming, and obviously the FERC Order 1920. Again, thank you for your time. You enjoyed 5 minutes of the best information from the league, and it would be huge if you promote it with 5 stars and become a subscriber. Thank you.